So I welcome all for this good governance webinar series. And I especially welcome Professor Apurbba Kumar Sharma and Professor Akshay Dvivedi. I'm very much thankful to you for taking time out and let me start my video. Yeah, namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar.
Yeah,
Namaskar.
And we have been in touch with you through, I think, but we did not meet, I think. Okay, so what I will do, I will request, so we have first lecture speaker or Professor Apurbba Kumar Sharma, followed by Professor Akshay Dvivedi. I would request Himanshi to introduce our distinguished speakers, and followed by that, we will have a presentation and lecture by the respected professors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in the 9th Public Policy Good Governance webinar. We have the pleasure of having two very eminent speakers from the prestigious IIT Roorkee. Our first speaker is Professor Apurbba Kumar Sharma. Sir is going to speak on topic strategic planning for holistic education, transitioning through NEP 2020. Let me introduce Sir to everyone. Sir is a full professor in Department of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering, and he is heading Department of Design at Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. He served as Dean of Academic Affairs from 2021 to 2024, playing a pivotal role in advancing the implementation of National Education Policy, NEP 2020, through comprehensive curriculum reforms. Sir has earned his PhD from IIT Madras with a specialization in manufacturing and surface engineering. He is widely recognized as leading expert in advanced manufacturing, microwave material processing, and surface engineering. With over 150 published journals, articles, and 11 Indian patents, his scholarly impact is reflected in his impressive H-index, which we all are aware of. He has a H-index of 46. We welcome you, sir. Our second eminent speaker is Professor Akshay Dvivedi. Sir will be speaking on the topic developing enabling R&D ecosystem through institutional and policy reforms in Indian HEIs. Let me introduce Sir also to you. Sir Dvivedi sir is a professor and head of Department of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering at IIT Roorkee. He has been faculty member at IIT Roorkee since 2010. He's currently the professor since 2020. Sir has earned his PhD in mechanical engineering from IIT Roorkee. His research interests encompass advanced manufacturing process, non-traditional micro machining, metal matrix composites, and quality function deployment. He has authored over 200 publications, including journal articles, book chapters, conference proceedings, and holds several patents in the field of manufacturing and machine technologies. We welcome you also, sir. I now would request Apurbba sir to please take the platform and take the presentation ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Himanshi. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Thank you for your kind words, for the kind introduction. And I'm very happy to be here in this platform. I'm thankful to the Institute for giving me this opportunity to reach out to our colleagues at different institutes or other organizations. And it's really great that Professor Akshay will also be talking along with me. Both of us, in spite of having from the we are from the same department, original department, mechanical and industrial engineering. We had the privilege of taking the responsibilities of two deaneries in an overlapping period. I was looking after the Dean of Academic Affairs, and he was looking after research and sponsored consultancy. And as you will appreciate, both these have a lot of overlapping, and we try to work together, build a kind of ecosystem, build a kind of enabling environment that is required by one institute of importance in this country, which is looking for a kind of developed country very soon. And in that, education is the most important component, and which we cannot ignore. Rather, we have to put more and more emphasis, and that is what we both tried, and we are okay. Today we will be trying to give you a little bit of glimpse on what we try to do and what about our thought process is. Let's move on. So yeah. It all starts with education, and there is no need to talk about the significance of education, be it in the individual level, be it in societal level, national level, or global level. Education is education, and that is the first thing probably human being in this civilized country like era can think of. And of course, when we talk about holistic education, which is like the theme of my talk today, which I will be talking for now, probably next 20 minutes or so. Many may be like still thinking about what is holistic education, what is the concept, what is it, how to like implement it, how to go about it, how to strategize it. So that's what probably we'll be talking about a little bit, and let us understand through the following probably slides. Holistic education is about like, okay, giving a holistic view of life and learning all those ingredients required for having a complete human life that one can enjoy, that one can be proud of, getting fulfillment. So this, what is this concept? Who has discovered it and when it all started? If we think about that, we need not to move around or wonder about what is holistic education is. It is very, very old. The concept is very old. It was being preached. It was being practiced. It was very much part of Indian civilization, Indian culture. And it is, that's why it is very, very old, if I talk about. And it all started with those days when our forefathers went to the Gurukulam for getting education, where all people, all were treated equally. It was a plural society. It was a just society, and it was equity was the kind of buzzword there. All were treated in the same manner, irrespective of sex, irrespective of caste, irrespective of anything. There was no distinction in between. So this was what the concept is, and that is where they started teaching us holistic education. So it is right from producing and fetching foods, which is the primary requirement for our survival, and how to prepare food, okay, and about the arts. It's very, very important part of human life, human progress or human civilization. Even the art of words, even the art of how it is required for survival, for protecting ourselves. Okay, so even those were very meticulously taught to us. Then what are the rights? What are rights and what are wrong? This legal system, it was being taught, very well taught. Laws of nature, science, chemistry, all those were taught in those Risikulam or Gurukulam, you can say. Even if we were sitting under, our people, our forefathers were sitting under the tree, but there were not scarcity of knowledge, like to talk about laws of nature, laws of science, laws of chemistry, and so on. Even we were much, much advanced in astronomy, which requires very high level of mathematics, which requires knowledge of physics, and these were there. All those days it was there. Humanities and social science, we were very, very much ahead of humanities and social science while creating an equitable society, a just society, and how to live together with harmony. All those things were part and parcel of those teaching, and we were never thought of it. Medicine and healthcare, it was thought, and the kind of medicinal knowledge, the medical knowledge we have in our ancient scriptures or ancient literature, it is amazing. It is today, it is a part of research. So that much of advancement we had, that much of holistic thinking we had, that much of holistic education we had even during those days. It is not that we were not told about sports. Yes, sports, music, whatnot. Means if I have to cut short, all it is that all 64 colors were taught in those schools, and what else we can think about that holistic education is different from this. This is the origin, this is the root of holistic education, what we try to rediscover today, what we are trying to re-implement today, and that is what was being preached, was being practiced, and was there very much part of our culture that brought us to this day today. However, unfortunately, probably somewhere, somehow, we lost in between. Probably we lacked in planning, we lacked in execution, what is required with that of time dimension. Everything has to change with time. It cannot be a 5,000-year-old or 1,000-year-old things can be as it is implemented today. It's impossible, simply impossible. There need to be some changes, some replanning, some execution level changes. Probably we missed somewhere, and that we need to redo today. Having said that, even if we talk about today, modern education, even it is very old. That concept of holistic education is very old. This scientist whom I call none less than a god for me personally. So he talked about this holistic education, actual performance of students as early as 90 years back. In 1936, he talked about this, and in University of New York. And he was talking about, he was the proponent of holistic education, how the actual performance matters and how the students should be taught about this in school, in colleges, in universities. And that is the kind of education. It can be even about a poem. It can be about a thesis, doctor's thesis, but it should be of the students liking, where he can actually perform. Not that you should do it and you should be doing good from that expectation. No, it is other way around. I can do it, I love it, I want to perform it. That is the holistic education. But now, how can we get it? How can we put it in place or in execution? So if we talk about that, so probably can we talk about this wonderful policy, this wonderful document, National Education Policy 2020, which gives us a kind of rejuvenated thinking in terms of holistic education. Probably India is looking for. India is looking to rediscover. This talking about this NEP, this is it underlines that education is fundamental for achieving full human potential. So that is what the education should be. And this should be holistic in nature. It should be more experiential. It should be inquiry driven, okay? And it should be flexible. It should be flexible and, of course, enjoyable. Are we ready for that? Or how can we implement this? How can we bring this into action? So that is the challenge today. and probably these type of discussions, this type of deliberations probably will help us framing more and more or better and better strategies towards achieving this. Even SDG also talk about education, and that is to ensure inclusive and equitable education. So this is part of our NEP. NEP has taken cognizance of this, and that is the good part of it. Why we need a new a national education policy at this stage is it is nothing like the earlier one was quite old. It was as early as in 1986, and then in between there was a modification that was a very marginal modification. However, the implementation of this was very focused implementation on very issue-based implementation. So we needed a kind of comprehensive a policy, and now we are coming up with the one what is being in force now, that is with repurposed, with redefinition of so to develop good human beings. So that is the kind of purpose of this NEP. And as I said, we had the value system, and now we must go ahead with the kind of India's tradition and value system. Can we revisit it? Can we revive it? Can we rebuild it on it? Can we reimagine and rechristen it in the kind of future need? Okay. And this, of course, emphasizes on various aspects that I have already talked about. However, there are challenges. India is a vast country, number one as far as population is concerned, and there are so many other things are there which poses kind of challenges in achieving this. What are those challenges? Say, for example, the NEP talks about re-establish the teachers at all levels, and most of this respected. So teachers are respected ones. That is that NEP says. However, do we respect the teachers? How the teachers are being respected in this society in India? Is it not the job, or is it not the lot who comes here or who joins the job, who do not get any other job in any other sector? It is being looked at that way. Teachers are those who do not get job elsewhere. That was what sometimes it was seen. Even the systemic wise, if we talk about how does the teachers are being treated in India, I'm talking about this. Just comparing two nations, we are almost at 50% of the salary as far as or in comparison to the Germany. I'm talking about the salary of the highest grade professor of the highest institutions in this country. One IIT professor gets only 50% of that of a German professor gets, at the same level. And what is more is this is the highest salary which cannot be increased, which is fixed at the highest level. Even if he works for another 10 years, he will be getting this much only. So this is how the kind of challenges do come. How do we expect these teachers will give their best in the to overcome the challenges? Then it talks about all students. Do we reach out to all students? Are we creating an environment where all students can participate, can be given education? Here is an example. So this is a case of LKG student where the parents will have to pay 2.02 lakhs per annum for his LKG kid. Imagine. Then are we talking about all students? And all students in India afford to this? So these are the kind of challenges that we envisage. However, let's move on, looking at the opportunities, the possibilities. There are a number of opportunities, number of possibilities being created by this wonderful document. So that it is talking about internationalization, it is talking about students' participation, it is talking about the financial support of the students, it is talking about government intervention in the form of support to students and the leaders, and so on. It talks about Indian languages, art, and culture, and so on. What I started with, this talk I started with. So India is very rich in all these art, culture, music, everything, everywhere, in astronomy, in science, everywhere. So can we, and the NEP 2020 has created all those provisions in its document and in its action. It is expected that this will be implemented. There are flexibility. That is what Einstein was talking about. Students should be given the flexibility to learn as per his interest, not as per parents' interest, not as per teachers' interest. This is what they're talking about, flexibility. Students should be given like a holistic education, multidisciplinary. In IIT Roorkee, we have created all these kind of possibilities. Students can learn. A humanities student can learn data science. A humanities student can learn machine learning. Once he has the aptitude, once he has the interest, he can. We have created this kind of ecosystem, this kind of enabling environment in our system. One can take research in different field apart from his or her own core area. One can take up research problems, research projects in another area. Then technology, yes, we cannot, of course, ignore technological advancements. We have to make them enabled with the reach to technologies, reach to the tools, reach to the enabling environment, technologically enriching environment, inclusive education, of course, ethics and constitutional values. All these things are the kind of wonderful provisions being created under like an NEP, and these are nothing but opportunities for us to work with and how to implement that. So that is a kind of big question. So in this, as part of this like a policy, students are welcomed and cared for. Yes, they are cared for, but who will ensure this? How to implement this? How to go about this? What is the strategy for that? How the leaderships are being prepared to take this welcoming environment to this caring environment forward. So these are some of the kind of points or kind of strategic aspects that we should deliberate upon, we should talk about, we should come up with solutions. So to this effect also, none other than the great Einstein talked about 90 years back, even 90 years back. So whenever I read Einstein, who is, by the way, I said he is my first kind of person whom I look for. So he has given wonderful solutions. He talks about even teachers should be of kind of that artist. He should be artist here. He talks about artist. If he is a machine learning person, he should be the artist in machine learning. He should be, if he is the astronomy expert, he should be the artist in astronomy expert. He should be the expert in that field. Okay, he should have that thing. So this comes with this advice comes with two conditions, kind of conditions. What he says is teachers should also grow in such schools. This is what the pedagogy of the teachers. Where from? What is the pedagogy of these teachers? How they are trained? We are talking about training the trainers. So how well they are prepared to take up this, to take these things forward. So that is very, very important. Then teachers should be given the extensive liberty to teach in his own way, the way the student can learn, the student can acquire more and more from him. that kind of a kind of enabling environment the teacher should be capable of providing, should be accommodating kind of teacher. And in IIT Roorkee, we have tried to do these things as well. So for that, what is needed? For the three important stakeholders are the promoters, maybe government or the those who put money into that. Then policymakers who try to give some guidelines or the governance, and then implementers. All these three components, they should be on the same page. This is very, very important strategically. And it is after that, they should have a kind of common objective. It is not that they are there and they are all in silos. They should have a kind of common objectives to provide education that lasts, not that earns. This should be the motto. And if they work with this, then probably we are in the same phase and we will be able to do something for providing holistic education. Then how the strategic planning should move forward? So probably it's all about creating an enabling environment. That's Professor Akshay Dvivedi will be talking about more about this. And while we were working as deans in the respective field, we together also tried to work to create a kind of environment, enabling environment that makes makes life easy, that makes a holistic education possible. Learning by doing is the first thing that we should try, and that is at the meso level we can try, and we have done it. In IIT Roorkee, every year there is a mandatory project the students will have to take it. It is not imposed, but they will be, they are supposed to do, and they are doing. They learn by doing their projects. Apart from the n number of other projects, those are being given by the students. I think I have 2 or 3 more minutes. I have to finish it up. Dr. Himansi, yeah, I can sense it. Yeah, then the flexibility in curricula, yes, we have, as I said earlier, humanities students can learn computer science students can learn humanities, a kind of, I'm talking about two diagonally opposites, and all combinations are possible. We have created the curriculum in such a way that IIT Roorkee students can even learn from Harvard, learn from Oxford, learn from MIT. There is nothing like that. Okay, then quality teachers, of course, I was talking about, I will be talking about, that is one of the important aspects. Then talking to stakeholders is very, very important. This students, teachers, their students' parents, then our alumni, in silos or delinking all these stakeholders, we cannot achieve. Our industries, which are our major takers of our students, our output, we cannot delink them. We should be talking to them as frequently as possible. We did it while strategizing strategically when we tried to formulate our new curriculum. And I'm very happy to say that during my period, we could revamp both UG and PG curricula as per or you can say NEP 2020 compliant, and that makes the IIT Roorkee first institute in the country to have it in both UG and PG level. And in that process, we talk to our alumni, we talk to our industries, we talk to our students, and we talk to our colleagues at different different leading universities in the world to come up with our curriculum. That's the kind of a comprehensive effort we made to do it, to bring a kind of holistic education platform curricula to our institute. Societal Connect. IIT Roorkee curricula have a mandatory component of going to the society. Our students have to go to society and then solve their problem, and that is part and parcel of their learning. So that's the holistic education we are talking about. Quality infrastructure, of course. So nothing more to talk about. Without that, nothing will happen. And on top of that, education should be an considered as an investment. It is not a way of earning or service providing means. It is an investment for the growth of the country. So it is not that something is allotted to education. No, we have to come up with realistically, we have to come up with strategic plan to invest and for upliftment of the education. If I see very quickly, 3 countries here. If we see, we are lagging behind USA, we are lagging behind Germany in as far as the government expenditure is concerned in education sector. Please remember, Germany and USA are already advanced countries, 100% literate countries, already advanced technologically and so on. So their like contribution and our contribution should not become these things. So our contribution should be much more. We are yet to come up to that level. Okay. Then if we are talking about the micro level strategic planning, there are so many things. However, the core to this is what I envisage is should be made on, or so we should create an enjoyable environment, and by making the learning place like a home, okay, where student can enjoy learning, enjoy education. Flexibility is the key. We should, and it should be. Then only the environment will be enjoyable. Then only our students will be able to learn. Then yeah, there is in between part will not work. Either we should be highly professional to deliver our education, okay, or we should be a maturist. Okay, in between somehow we just kind of okay, it will work. That will not work really. Okay, so that should not be the kind of consideration. Which if we need to strategize it, let us strategize it with a firm understanding that we need to be very, very professional in implementing these things. Yeah, Warok should be in action. Warok is a wonderful kind of provision being created in NEP. However, its implementation is yet to be visible. So I have not seen very serious effort towards this. So probably this should be made more and more active, and that will make the NEP also more meaningful. Okay, so probably there are a lot of things I cannot take much time as I wish to. There are some constraints already. I have, I think, crossed few minutes. I'm sorry for that. My apologies for that. Let's do our bit, whatever we can do for the betterment of the education system, for the implementation of the holistic system, and let's hope for the best. Ultimately, education is something that should remain, even if someone forgotten like everything, whatever he or she has learned in school. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this platform and listening to me very patiently. Probably I will stop sharing. Yeah, over to you, Dr. Himanshi.
Thank you, sir. There are probably 1 or 2 queries which we will take at the end of this. Now I welcome Professor Akshay Dvivedi, sir, to speak on the topic enabling R&D ecosystems through institutional and policy reforms in Indian HEIs. So.
Apologies to Professor Akshay for eating into his time 2 or 3 minutes.
No apologies, sir. It was wonderful information. Thank you for creating a platform on which I can tell few more things. Just to give a quick overview about the question which has been asked in the chat box, maybe Professor Sharma will be enlightening all of us. But one of the biggest implementation hurdle is mindset. So to change a mindset with respect to NEP is something which is very important, and that cannot be done only by making policies. That comes by where people can really understand what is the essence. So I'll be very quickly talking about few things, how enabling R&D ecosystem can really help an institute to really grow. The outline of my entire talk would be focused on IIT Roorkee. Why? Because yes, we had some phenomenal change, some extraordinary outcomes that we were able to accomplish. And that has happened because there was an entire, let's say, pool of faculty members, students who really contributed a lot. And most important thing is, when we talked about research and development, we always took academic as a priority. I had been a teacher for last maybe 25 years. And throughout my tenure as an academician, people have told me that research is an integral part of academic teaching. And the sole reason for that is when you do research, you come up with new ideas, and those new ideas, when you are able to find a solution with that, you will be able to implement them through academic teaching. So we cannot keep academics and research separate. And that is one point on which me and Professor Sharma completely agree. To start with, I will quickly give an overview about IIT Roorkee's ecosystem, because that will help you in understanding what I am going to talk about. So IIT Roorkee currently has something around 10,800 students. We are 600 plus faculty members. We are in 3 different campuses. We have 23 departments and 19 specialized centers. Just to give you an understanding, when I say 19 specialized centers, some 3 years back, we were having 5 COEs. So from 5 to 19, there is a tremendous growth in numbers. Right now, we have 3 Section 8 companies, and majority of these Section 8 companies are evolving around startups. So basically, we have 2 different incubators who are supporting 300 plus startups. The overall, let's say, outlay, what these startups are right now would be around 5,000 crores. We made a very great jump in quality QS ranking worldwide. From 360s bracket, we moved to 335 in a year. The number of publications last 5 years is 14,482. The number of citations is 4,65,857. Most important part is when we talk about academic and research, the outcome is very important, and that particular outcome comes from industry perspective. Fortunately, with the extraordinary work of my colleagues at IIT Roorkee, we have been awarded Most Innovative Institute by CII in last 5 years. We have also received an award for Women in STEM. We have also received an award in intellectual property, and we have been an achiever in Gati's pilot by DST, which talks about inclusivity and gender enhancement. So to move things ahead, when we talk about policies, I would be slightly quick. So I request to please bear with me, because I have a lot of information to provide. If there are any questions, please write in the chat box. We can always have a discussion on it. If needed, you can always have my phone number. You can give me a call. Alternatively, you can write an email to me. So talking about if you have to really grow research and development in an academic institute like IIT Roorkee, which has a 178-year-old legacy, but it has to really come up in terms of emerging technology domain, you need to do a SWOT analysis. This particular SWOT analysis helps you in identifying clarity, the direction in which institute has to grow. It has to identify how it is going to link with the society. So there has to be a strategic thought process in this entire direction. From 2014 and onwards, R&D ecosystem in India has made a major change in the way how things are now being performed. And that particular major change is basically towards developing those technologies which would be beneficial for society. And especially in emerging technology domain. So there are government missions, for example, national mission for semiconductor. There are missions where AI is focused. There are missions where electric vehicles are under focus. There are missions where rural-based technology comes into picture. So all of those particular things basically help you in identifying a proper strategy. And in a way, if you are able to align institutional R&D objectives with the country's objectives, that basically puts you in a far better picture. Because for research and development, the most important requirement is you need to have funding. And that is, of course, one of the most important starting points. So if you have funds, you will be able to have better equipments, better characterization facilities, you will be able to support manpower, and then only things will grow. While academics is focused on human resource development, research is focused on human resource development plus some tangible outcomes. Tangible outcomes in terms of technologies. It can be a hardware, it can be a software, it can be an amalgamation of both. But in all of those particular scenarios, the outcome has to be a visible thing. In doing so, many a times, while you have to do a strategic, maybe policy making, in that particular case, decision making is an important part. So having data that basically gives you an opportunity to identify where are the shortfalls, where you are exceedingly performing well. So this helps you in identifying what are the pitfalls and where are the areas of improvement. If you do a sort of a holistic analysis about a particular institute, you will be in a position to do proper planning and then make maybe short-term plans, medium-term plans, and long-term vision. With this entire understanding, there are 5 P's which I really advocate for, and basically these 5 P's have been our pillars on which we have built a R&D growth ecosystem at IIT Roorkee. The first P is the policy, which basically lays out the foundation, the essential rules. So of course, whether it is a institution like IIT Roorkee, or whether maybe it can be an NIT, or maybe a private university, or maybe any other institution abroad, there has to be a policy because systems have to be in place. The issue is, whenever we talk about policies, rules sometimes make people to let's say bind their thought process. So when we talk about this particular foundation, if rules have to be in place, we need to identify that those rules are there for a forward-looking aspect where we move in a positive direction. The second P comes as processes. Basically, this is the engine. So one key sentence that I had been advocating from last few years is, whenever we have to enforce a particular rule, or maybe if there is a clerical procedure that has to be followed, we need to understand that we are here to provide an assistive environment. So this implies whether it is a faculty member or a student, or maybe an industry from outside, or maybe a ministry, we need to identify that how we can provide best possible assistance. So all the processes have to evolve around this particular one word, that assist is that particular word. Many a times, whenever we, let's say, develop some rules, we have very good processes, but most important thing is people do not know about it. So in that particular specific case, the third P comes in, which is promotion, which is about showcasing. So if institute is unable to showcase its prowess in the emerging technology domain, or whatever work domain in which the institute is working, that really doesn't serve the criteria. While it is important that people in an academic institute who are involved in research, they have to identify opportunities and provide those opportunities to all the internal stakeholders, it is also important that outcomes that are there from those opportunities, they are showcased to the entire world, both at state level, national level, as well as international level. In doing so, it also helps in reaching to the next P, which is partnerships. Partnerships with industries, partnerships with ministries, partnerships with other academic institutes, which can be in India, which can be abroad. So basically, there you get more ideas, you get more opportunities, and basically it is a two-way kind of a loop. And the last, but the most important part is people. So even if you take care of all the 4 P's which are previously mentioned, the last P, this is very important. When Professor Sharma was concluding his address, he told about that we have developed a particular scenario where faculty members can really guide students in a way where students can contribute to the society. In fact, he initiated a particular project which is named as CORE, which is focused on community outreach. So students go out, they see what is going on in around nearby villages, they see how they can help those particular places by providing technical interventions. And if students are motivated to do that, possibly they will also be motivated to do a much higher and much better work in terms of very complicated research and development. So idea is, maybe you need to create a particular scenario where people are motivated so that their creativity comes out. They become maybe slightly extrovert, they are able to express, and basically they become our brand ambassadors. So in doing all of those particular things, we identified that, okay, if I have to identify most important stakeholder in a particular institute like IIT Roorkee, what is that one? Most important one. So our stakeholders are students, faculty, industry, parents of those particular students, industry in a way where some industry wants our students to be absorbed as maybe a human resource. Some scenario where industry wants their R&D problems to be fulfilled, where we provide them solutions. But in doing all of those particular things, we identify that it is our faculty colleague who is the most important in this entire ecosystem of stakeholders. So we identified, can we do something for those particular faculty members so that they can do good research and development and they get good let's say, all the resources what are needed for doing the things. And most importantly, sometimes our faculty colleagues are deep thinkers because all of them are very good researchers. So they go quite deep in understanding a particular problem and then identifying a particular solution. So in those particular cases, sometimes showcasing their outcomes is an important part, and maybe a faculty doesn't have time to do it. So we provide all of those particular opportunities where their research can be showcased. We provide them those particular opportunities where those particular research outcomes can be patented, and henceforth, if possible, we can do a tech transfer. I will be giving you some figures at the end of the presentation, which will help you to understand what I am really talking about and how that has been accomplished. In doing all of those particular things, we identified that since our colleagues are creative thinkers, we cannot bind them with rules. But of course, rules have to be there. Those rules have to be there because we have to do certain compliances with respect to managing finance, how things would be purchased, how people will be hired. So there are so many rules which comes into those particular cases. So coming with that particular one word, assist, we actually started developing policies where faculty members feel empowered and supported. Whenever they have to take a particular call for fulfilling a particular R&D objective or project deliverable, they can feel the feeling of empowerment that, okay, this is their call and they have done it, and institute is there to support their particular call. And in doing all of those particular things, ecosystem where our students, our research staff, all of them can get benefit out of it by working in a safe and inclusive environment. So these are few key principles on which we started working. In doing so, one of the most important requirement is, okay, what have to be, let's say, those identifiers where when we create an enabling policy, what should be that particular one word which can define it. So very quickly, I'll be talking about this particular specific slide. One is accountability. So there has to be a clear mechanism for monitoring and evaluating policy effectiveness as and when required. I hope many of you who are working in different organizations, sometimes you are leading those organizations, sometimes you are there as a team player, team worker. If you have access to SOPs, standard operating procedures, or maybe if you are a particular position of leadership, you create those particular SOPs, things become much more easier. So basically there will be an input. With that particular input, there will be a value addition by SOP, and then there will be an outcome. So if a simple SOP, which can be showed in a flow chart to people, it becomes easier for them to understand how this can be done. These particular SOPs can also be developed for collaboration between faculty to faculty, faculty to student within the institute, faculty to faculty outside the institute, faculty to industry, where industry is from maybe India or maybe from abroad. So those particular collaborations can really help them. So whenever certain policy is to be made, we have to keep all of those particular things in under background checks that yes, whatever policy that we are making, are we promoting collaboration? In doing so, people sometimes do need some sort of a recognition. It can be some sort of a recognition, which I sometimes use word as incentivizing. But incentivizing does not mean we are paying money to them. Incentivizing implies that we are giving recognition to them. Of course, money will automatically follow. In doing all of those particular things, if systems are in place, this implies we will have a clarity and transparency. This implies if there is some particular input which comes from outside that, okay, this particular point is not clear, that particular communication is a very important part because that creates a transparent environment. In doing all of those particular things, few automatic things come inherent: efficiency, inclusivity, flexibility, responsiveness, and accessibility. Among all of these particular 5 points, which I have just now mentioned, accessibility is something which is extraordinarily important. Accessibility of information may be in online space. Accessibility of those particular people who are there in an assistive environment. Accessibility of an associate dean and dean, even in late night hours. So whether it is 5 a.m. in morning or maybe 12:30 in night, if there is a particular requirement from some particular policymaker, and if that particular policymaker is accessible, maybe approachable on a WhatsApp or maybe a phone call, or of course an email on all other things, it really helps people to do some extraordinary good work. With this particular enabling policies, the benefits automatically comes out. And with those particular benefits, you need to have some sort of understanding how these particular benefits will be evaluated. So I sometimes use a particular way of mentioning this as key performance indicators. So let's say if I talk about a simple increased research output one, research output can be terms in terms of outlay of R&D. It can be in number of patents. It can be number of technology transfers. It can be number of startups supported, or maybe startup which have actually matured and enter into a commercial space. So there are so many key performance indicators about research output. Similar to that, when we talk about innovation, innovation basically is achieved by having a supportive environment. So let's say if there is a particular scenario where some extraordinary characterization is needed and a specific equipment is needed for it, can you provide a particular policy by which a faculty member can buy a particular equipment for his or her research? Can you provide a policy by which a group of faculty members can buy an extraordinarily expensive equipment for their work? And maybe in this particular case, a hybrid kind of a research is needed. Is it possible that whatever policy that you make that ensure that all the research equipments which are available on an institute, in an institute, irrespective of department, or maybe other institutes which are engaged in R&D, all those equipments are accessible by maybe an online platform? So a supportive environment where policy comes into picture, you do those particular things. I will give you a few examples how this particular thing can be done. Let me talk about availability of equipment. IIT Roorkee has an Institute Instrumentation Center portal on which all of our equipments are available online. So anybody who is within our institute, who is outside our institute, they can book that particular equipment, send the samples, bring the samples. There will be a defined timeline by which the result will be available. Similar to that, Principal Scientific Advisor Office has really done a wonderful thing in with help of IIC Bangalore. They have created a portal like iSTEM, and I am happy to mention that more than 700 plus equipments of IIT Roorkee are available on iSTEM. Anybody can use them. Only requirement is you need to be an Indian researcher. Irrespective of the place, you can book a particular equipment and get used to them. So considering the paucity of time, I'm slightly hurrying up. So talking about when we say that key performance indicators are something which are very important, in these particular key performance indicators for each and every outcome that you want your institute to achieve, whether by a short-term policy or a medium-term policy or a long-term policy. So in all of those particular cases, you need to identify that, okay, if in next 3 years, I want to make my institute R&D outlay to be growing from, let's say, current maybe 500 crores to 1,000 crores. The outcome is money. And this implies you need to do everything what is needed to get that particular money part coming in. And this implies you need to search for what is the, let's say, current funding mechanisms, what are those particular specific technology domains in which there is funding coming either from government or maybe industry. And then you try to interact with those particular industries. Thereby, you will be able to achieve those particular KPIs. When we talk with respect to KPIs, there are different matrices. One is input, which measure resources invested in R&D. For example, R&D budget, personnel, facilities. Some maybe 3 years ago, the number of R&D people engaged in, let's say, our ecosystem, that number is now actually increased by more than 3 times in the current date. So if the outlay is also increased in that same manner, or maybe outlay is increased in an exponential manner, you will be able to understand that, okay, with this particular input, this has been the outcome. In last 2 years or so, IIT Roorkee has contributed close to 70 crores to the R&D ecosystem, where a group of faculty members have purchased equipments which can be used for hybrid kind of a research. So if 70 crores are input, what is the outcome in terms of R&D? So the KPIs basically helps in understanding that what you wanted to achieve, whether you are able to achieve or not. Then comes processes matrices. You must have heard about a particular word charter. So let's say if a particular request comes from a faculty member for, let's say, anything, what will be the time needed to complete this particular request? 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. So the processes have to be designed in a way so that this particular timeline can actually be reduced. You cannot pile upon files. You cannot wait for each and everything to go on its own course. There has to be a particular mechanism where the processes becomes more and more efficient. The output matrices are very simple in terms of publications, patents, and product types. And finally, in all of those particular cases, when you partner with external stakeholders, what is the overall broader impact of R&D on institution and society? Very quickly, I'll be showing you some examples. Imanshi, please let me know if I overshoot the time. Okay, I hope I may be allowed to have maybe 2 to 3 minutes extra from the scheduled
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. So we provide a seed funding to any faculty members who join the institute. The seed funding is in of tune of 20 lakhs. We provide an enhancement in the seed funding from 20 lakhs to 25 lakhs if 5 lakh comes from an industry. So this implies that, let's say, first year when a faculty joins, they are having 30 lakh rupees for spending on their R&D expenditure. When we talk with respect to, let's say, hybrid research, we have a wonderful scheme which is named as SMILE. I just now mentioned that last 2 years, the funding under SMILE has be close to 70 crores. Now, from where this particular money comes for FIG or SMILE? The idea is very simple. Whatever R&D work that our colleagues do, for example, if they do work of, let's say, only 100 rupees, this is just an example. 20% of that goes in institutional overhead. 50% of that particular thing goes in institute R&D account. And this particular R&D account basically provides this entire money back in the ecosystem where people can buy better equipment for research and development. So in this particular same way, we have many other policies which we started with. One particular clear-cut policy is intellectual property rights. By the way, whatever policy that I'm talking about, they are available in open domain. Anyone can download it. Just do a small Google search. You will be able to identify all the policy structures which are there at IIT Roorkee. IPR policy helps in identifying what sort of patents we have to go ahead, how those particular patents will be processed. We have a wonderful policy where faculty members are promoted to enter into startup and entrepreneurship domain. We, in fact, even provide financial support for faculty-led startups. So this implies if a faculty member wants to open a startup, okay, institution can provide certain support to that. We have a policy where if a faculty member gets certain external funding, we can provide a part of it under matching grant scheme. And most important thing is if there is something which is developed in a particular laboratory, which is, let's say, at a TRL level of 4, we can provide certain funds to increase the TRL level from 4 to level 9. So all of those particular policies basically becomes quite enabling. And because of that, I have a few numbers to present here. In last 3 years, 157 new products, new services, 1,236 international academic collaborations, 824 scientists from R&D labs, industry, academy under exchange program, and this is international visits. So when collaboration comes into picture, these visits are really important. In last 1 year, 148 patents were granted. Last 1 year, 29 technologies are transferred. I am very sure best of the best ecosystems do not have this particular number of 29 technology transferred in 1 year. 52 faculty members of our ecosystem are right now engaged in startups. There are 300 plus startups in this entire ecosystem with 2 incubators supporting them, and along with the support coming from an industry accelerator which is named at RT. Very quickly, I'll be showing you some particular photographs where you can see that, okay, extraordinary, complicated technical research, that is fine. Everybody is working in it and there are so many other domains. But here, this particular research comes directly to be provided to Indian rural environment. So photo of a Bageshwari wool charkha and mechanized roller for felt making. All of these particular technologies are deployed, and right now their deployment is done in a way where they generate entrepreneurship in villages. Few more examples: air-cooled tricycle, vegetable vending cart, cold storage powered Pico hydropower system. Then we again do so many outreach activities. For example, organizing startup expos, organizing industry trade shows, organizing those particular scenarios where we can train people to, let's say, enter into entrepreneurship domain. Recently, we have planted close to 70,000 mulberry trees in Almora. And those particular mulberry trees will be generating revenue model for silk farming at that particular place. In month of July, we'll again be planting close to 1 lakh trees. And all of those particular trees are planted by women. This is one particular policy which we started some 3 years back. The name is Taxarthi. And in this particular case, we audit the processes which are there in MSMEs, and we try to provide them solutions which are easy and quick to deploy. In doing so, we provide them support for standards to be inculcated in their processes so that their particular products or processes, they can actually compete at a global level. Some wonderful outcomes about XRT has been there. In these particular outcomes, this is an example where we developed a particular app for e-commerce for an FPO, which is named as Bhuamrit. Bhuamrit works in organic farming domain, and they have wonderful products, but of course, market accessibility is something which was a real trouble for them, and that is why they couldn't grow. So this particular app is now available. This current slide basically tells about a particular scenario where oil production from seeds was done, where the seeds were there from organic farming. The yield was very low. Our students entered into this particular venture. They optimized the entire process. They did multiple experimentation and increased the yield by close to 4%. While doing so, they also made a particular app in which an operator which may not have a very good literacy rate identifies what is the humidity level, what is the temperature level, and by incorporating those particular things in the machine, the operator knows that, okay, these are the 4 settings which I have to play in the machine, and finally things can go up. This is a particular system where KLA India is basically a small food processing company in Rudrapur. We developed a particular dashboard for monitoring of all of those particular processes, incorporated technologies like blockchain to identify from where raw material is coming in, what are the flaws in that particular thing so that output or productivity can be enhanced. They have so many startups who are working in extraordinary domains. D-Town Robotics is one of our flagship startup. They work in precision agriculture domain. They work in drones. They work in heavy duty agriculture tasks using ground vehicles. Similar to this particular thing, we also interact a lot with school students, with self-help groups, with FPOs, and basically in those particular cases where we can provide technical intervention to ease their outcomes. Making incense sticks is one example, making holy colors is another example. But of course, we are also in developing drones, also in where highly complicated telemetry comes into picture by incorporating, let's say, drones where they communicate with satellites directly. We are working a lot with Army, working a lot with in healthcare sector. For example, we have wonderful collaboration with AIIMS Delhi, AIIMS Rishikesh, and so many other institutes. We have developed multiple things in irrigation efficiency. Considering the paucity of time, I will be just giving you some figures. Please have a close observation on the current slide, which is in front of you. 2020 to 2021 and coming to 24 to 25, you can see the outlay. Somewhere we were at 100 crores. Right now we have exceeded 500 crores. This is in terms of only R&D outlay. 2018, we were somewhere around 39 patents were filed in a year. 2024, 142 patents filed in a year. The number of patents granted, 2018 to 2022, we were okayish. But of course, 23 onwards, there is a huge jump. So with these particular figures, you will be able to realize that yes, it takes some efforts to create those particular policies so that the policies, when they are deployed, there is no gap between a policymaker thought process and a person who is on execution level. So assistive environment is basically the one particular requirement. So whatever policy comes in, that particular policy has to focus towards assistive environment. While doing so, you need to ensure that you are aligned. You means as an institute, you are aligned with national missions. If NEP is coming into picture, you need to appreciate what are those particular things in NEP which can really contribute to R&D. Can you do something so that the outcomes which are there from NEP, they can really be fulfilled. And this also provides growth in multiple domains. With this, thank you very much. I'll be stopping my presentation. I could see that there are some queries. Maybe we can first start with Professor Sharma to respond to the queries, and then I can jump in.
Thank you, sir. There are many queries and compliments, of course. So we have Garima Mehtani. Oh, I'll start the first one. Yeah, Garima Mehtani. So as mentioned in the start of webinar, IIT Roorkee has one of the first institution to adopt NEP. My question is from Professor Apurbba. Is what challenges were faced by IIT Roorkee in terms of institutional governance and structural changes to align with NEP vision of outcome-based education? Same question is asked by Professor Rao. What are the challenges faced by IIT Roorkee in implementing NEP 2020? What significant changes were introduced by IIT Roorkee, which are clearly visible?
Yeah, thank you.
And then benefits for students for rollout of NEP.
Thank you, Dr. Himanshi, and thank you. I think I forgot the name who asked the question. A very natural question. Very natural question. Challenges are there. Challenges were there, and challenges will be there. And if there are no challenges, then probably we have not done anything. That's as simple as that. And what are the kind of challenges? Like, if you wish me to give some examples, or if you want to know what are the kind of challenges, yeah, there are challenges. All changes do come with a package. One of the first component is challenge. Say for example, you are proposing a forward-looking curriculum where we want to teach computer science students humanities, or civil engineering students management, or electrical engineering student some sort of economics or so. And in a meeting, the senior professor comes with us. Some senior professor comes with, you have killed all my engineering. Now we were trying to teach all humanities and that kind of things. So how can it happen? What is this kind of a new development? It's a big challenge. I can't undermine his experience. I can't undermine his intellectual ability. I can't put him to zero. I have to take care of his sentiment as well. He is here in the system for 35 years. He has taught many students that probably I can count in my life. Okay. So therefore, what we did, we tried to have a kind of wide consultation, strategically consulting all the people, taking all the people on board, and then taking the decision. Onboarding the people made our life easy when he himself became part of the decision making, and he gleefully accepted that, yes, Professor Sharma, what you are talking about is probably the way we should look forward to challenge. Then how to provide this kind of, say, Professor Dvivedi was talking about core. Now the students will have to go to the field, will have to go to the village, will have to work on their kind of problems, how to identify those, how to link those, how to implement these things. Kind of challenge. But these are operational challenges. We will have to work it out. We have number of NGOs, we have number of industries who are partnering with us. Professor Dvivedi has given a very good account of a number of farms that are working. They are already, we are in a handshaking mode. So why not we take help of those? Why not we onboard them and go ahead? So these are kind of challenges, and we can do it always. Then I think one more question probably if I'm allowed to, shall I respond to the next question also?
Yes, sir. On vocationalization, sir.
No, the other one,
Yes.
like how do you measure?
Yes, sir.
Like privately, how do you measure the implementation of NEP?
Right.
Yeah, so I think that partial answer was given by Professor Dvivedi again. His last slide, that number of patents increased from 2022 and then 23 onwards. How does it happen? So it is the effect of the kind of ecosystem that is being created by the institute. And probably, yes, Professor Dvivedi played a key role in that, in implementing or in bringing out those things, in channelizing those things, in making it happen. But it is a part of this entire ecosystem. Let me give you some more data probably. We have like come up with our curriculum that first year, first semester, all the students need to do a project. We have 1,393 students in our single batch. They get admitted into IIT Roorkee. 1,393 students. Each and every student will have to do a project. First year alone, there were close to 500 projects being done, in 500 different projects being done by these students. Wonderful projects. We made a kind of like an exhibition of these projects. Everybody was awestruck. Amazing display of their talent. Then let me go one step ahead. Out of these 500, I think close to 10 projects were patented. How could it come? Please remember, their first year BTech or this undergraduate students in the first semester. Just barely they have completed their high school education, coming to IIT, stepping into IIT and starting the serious business of patenting their research, their work, their innovation. That's the indicator. Is it not an indicator? It's indicator. So that is the way it will come. And since we have implemented it only like 2 years back, the actual results, actual data are yet to come. They are in the process of generation. Our students, first batch students in that with new curriculum is now coming to third year. So more and more things will come up and more data will be generated. And of course, we will have to be more and more probably methodical in collecting and analyzing those data as well whenever those come into. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's one question more on that NEP is emphasizing on vocationalization, but some assistance is required when it comes to placement. So that's one query, Apurbba sir, for you.
Yeah. Vocationalization, yes, it is there. But one more thing, let us understand that, like all the aspects at a time. Okay. So touching all the aspects, addressing all the aspects at a time may be very, very challenging. Okay. However, so we are like coming up with kind of ecosystem like where, yes, doing by hand, doing by like learning by hand, and like doing by practice or lab oriented things, we have already started. One particular provision I can say that one TEB basket we have, talent enhancement basket we have created under this, wherein what it will do, one student is very good at drone making. He need not be very good at machine learning, coding, that kind of things. His interest is, his passion is for that. One student is very good at 3D printing or making some modeling and all these things. So now how to tap this? So this is a kind of vocationalization, kind of. So we are creating the provision, like in one semester, he will learn about that. Another semester, he will implement how to do that. So he will, in the third semester, he will come up with the entire product. Means Means we are, instead of giving him a lot of doses of like research contents, so probably he is coming up with a product that he is fond of. And please remember, we have made it interdisciplinary. There is nothing like that these students of mechanical engineering should do the TEB project and in mechanical engineering only. No. He or she can go to another department of his or her own interest and do it. Get it done over a period of 2 or 3 semesters. And even if after that, he feels that, no, this is the time I have learned many things and now I should leave this platform, I will do my own. Yes, welcome. We have created that provision also. He can take an exit with his kind of know-how, his kind of understanding. Probably he can start a different thing of his interest, where he got his skill. This is a kind of, we call it skill basket, okay? And he will go away. So this is a kind of like, you can say in a kind of adaptation to that education. Okay, thank you. Hope I'm clear.
Thank you, sir. One last question from Dvivedi, sir, maybe, which is that you are inculcating research, but how will you prevent brain drain? A comment on that.
Thank you, Manshi. Wonderful question. Creating stronger ecosystem is the only way how to enter into this particular way. But of course, there are so many social barriers which really prevent sometimes in getting us to accomplish this particular goal. But let me give you a few examples how do we do it. Usually, whenever we hire a fresh faculty, there will be an enhanced salary by, I think, 30,000 rupees per month. So if you are coming and joining IIT Roorkee, okay, you will be at a higher bracket. And basically, if you join, let's say, an assistant professor, you are already at an associate professor grade, right from day one. As you join in, there will be institutional support where you will be getting a faculty initiation grant, which is, I just now told, 25 lakh rupees. If an industry partner joins in, the total amount comes out to be 30 lakhs, and 30 lakhs is not a small amount. Moving ahead, institutional growth, whenever it is happening, you become a part of it. We really provide a very, very, very good environment to young colleagues who really can do wonders. Even let's say if there are certain students who are doing PhD at our institute, we have a possibility of providing them a joint degree. So there can be a university in US, a university in UK, and they get a degree from there and also a degree from IIT Roorkee. So they stay at IIT Roorkee, do that particular extraordinary work, what is available, maybe sometimes in an outside university, and we do get dual benefits of that. Providing them opportunities for placement is another thing. Things have recently started changing. Earlier, there was only computer science which was getting interest, but now manufacturing, core industry, it is now coming up. And I am very sure in 2025 onwards and in 2026, there will be a major shift about how core industry would be looking at the placement scenarios. Apart from that, you see, having a wonderful campus sometimes really helps. Providing them good flats really helps. I am fortunate that I am living in a flat which is wonderful. Maybe if I have to make that particular flat on my own, my entire life earning will be finished, and still I will not be able to do it. Living in a very clean, very green, very beautiful, and a very secured environment is another point which is sometimes helpful. Having access to medical facilities, education facilities, our institute takes care of each and everything what is needed. So this is how you build an ecosystem where people really like to live and they really like to work. Sometimes having wonderful offices, beautiful offices, corporate style, that also helps. There is a question from Devashish, which is about live projects. Devashish, Professor Sharma has created an enabling environment in which students can work on live projects. I have helped in an environment where collaborations can really be there. If you want your students to work with us, please connect. My email is available on the slide. I will be sharing it. Otherwise, you can just call me. I will be writing my mobile number on the chat box. And you can straight away give me a call and identify how we can provide certain kind of enabling environment to your students as well as faculty members. Live project is not only with respect to society, live project can also be with respect to industry. So if there is an opportunity where we can provide your students to work in an industry, we would be happy to provide that support. It is not about growth of IIT Roorkee, it is about growth of the entire ecosystem, which implies India has to grow, and IIM Sharma is a very important part in that particular scenario. Akash, you have asked a question about KPI slide, which has caught your eye, and you want something more to be detailed in that particular part. Very quickly, I will respond to your query. R&D expenditure is an input. Publication per faculty is an output. Citation impact is basically that particular number which helps in identifying our impact. So if in a particular year, let's say there is an X amount which has been invested in R&D, in 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, because that is the time what a paper really takes to be authored, published, it goes through multiple reviews, maybe 3 years down the line, a few citations will start appearing. And that particular citation impact can really help you in understanding what happened to the money that I invested. Patents filed is another output. The growth in terms of bar chart, which I have shown you, is one particular parameter. My predecessors have done some extraordinary work with that foundation. I have done some work, and maybe my successor will be doing some more additional work, which would be wonderful. So that will be increasing in exponential terms, the number as an output of patents. Now, technology transfer is something which is the most important thing, because this is a major pitfall for any kind of an academic and research institute. They can produce wonderful people, wonderful human resource, they can produce patents, but if they are not able to transfer it, it really doesn't go to society. Of course, there can be certain exceptions. So you need to create an environment wherein people really are able to appreciate the kind of work which you have done in your institute, and that particular showcase really helps in improving the tech transfers. If there is some sort of a, let's say, index which can really define collaboration, that would be one particular index which can identify the input and in terms of output. Number of MOUs signed in a particular year with national institutes, for example, only with academia, industries which are in India, industries which are abroad, academic institutes, universities abroad. So if we can create a collaboration index which can identify that, okay, in this particular year, we have invested so much in this particular R&D, what is the overall outcome? Financial outcome sometimes also comes to our help. So if there is a tech transfer, there will be, of course, a monetary exchange, and that particular monetary exchange comes out as a revenue part. So that particular revenue goes in where we can create an enabling ecosystem. I hope with these responses, I was able to answer majority of the queries. If there are any specific queries, please feel free to reach out. I will be more than happy to help you in any regard.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Himanshi, for organizing this session, and special thanks to DG Saab for sparing his time. And we are still waiting for him to visit IIT Roorkee.
I think DG sir is listening to your request and would love to come to Roorkee campus. So I was hoping sir to give some last remarks. Maybe he's busy. So on behalf of National Center for Good Governance, I extend my gratitude for all the participation that all the participants shown, the active questions, the relative questions for their own personal institutional growth. So thank you to all the participants. Thank you, Professor Apurbba. Thank you, Professor Dvivedi, for joining in and sparing a long, it exceeded a little, so a long afternoon with us. So thank you. So indeed, it was very fruitful, especially for all of us who are running or part of administration of any institution. So thank you once again.
Thank you all the participants.
Thank you.
Dr. Bhade.
Thank you.
For patiently listening. Thank you, Dr. Himanshi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So, Himanshi, maybe NCGG can plan a day-long workshop, which could be a maybe in-person interaction, which will really help people to identify what can be really done, because 30 minutes is not a right time. There are so many things. There are live learnings which sometimes help. So maybe plan something, and I hope Professor Sharma will be able to devote some time for that.
Sure, sir.
Definitely, I
We'll definitely
Okay.
plan a 3 days or a day workshop for this.
Sure, sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank
joining,
you.
everybody. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.